I mean, we're not playing on LAN servers, as you've seen on Twitter.
Yeah, I heard. What
Looked.
what is going on with that?
What was explained to us was that the servers that they had were the ones for Berlin, and they're caught up in customs.
All right,
So
well
we're
let's
playing
just
on online servers, and quite literally, people are lagging out. I an example for us is split pistol round on defense. GMD and I both lagged out at the same time, and he was killed, and I wasn't. But then the other team also had some things happen to them, and it was like it's a mess to say the least on that front.
Whew. All right, well let's just get it underway. I'm Brandon with Run It Back. First and foremost, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me today. I really appreciate it after your match with 100 Thieves.
I noticed the shirt, and no
Yeah, I
problem.
was just gonna say, all of us at Run It Back were huge Moon Raccoon fans. I have the hoodie on, the whole come up. That might have been, one of the most wholesome periods in all of NA Valorant so far. Just let me say, it's awesome to see you in this position with GenG. Definitely.
Appreciate it.
Well, we had a bit of a reunion, with you and Sean. He stood in with Moon Raccoons for the NSG and Renegade series about a year ago. With you on loan from Evil Geniuses, did that kind of play a part into it, being familiar with somebody on the team? What can you tell me about
Um,
you being sent over for the LCQ? How did that all unfold?
I wouldn't say I know too much detail on that front of like who would suggest it, but role wise of what I've been playing is kind of like a 1-to-1 for what Mikhail was playing before. So that was kind of one of the reasons. And it wasn't like I didn't know they were looking towards me as a player prior to officially reaching out for LCQ. So I guess it's been kind of the way I described is like under their on their radar for a while now.
Okay, well, just moving on to the match now. There's no shame, obviously, in losing to 100 Thieves after taking them to 3 maps. But you did tweet out kind of how you were disappointed about your play style and how it kind of went out in the game. Being a fresh member on the roster, I just kind of like to pick your brain about each map. What you felt went right and wrong for GenG as a whole and yourself personally. So let's just kind of start with Breeze.
Starting with Breeze. Um, I mean, we started with just losing both pistols. So honestly, I think we did like a really good job. We lost first pistol, we lost both EKs after. So we're down 2-0. We lost the first gun round, and then now it's 4-0. And at that point, we're just we're not really down because it's not like one of our most preferred maps, so to speak. But we're just kind of like fully into it. We're like, hey, it's whatever. It's a bad start. We'll just get into it. Then we kind of got back, and then the half 5-7, and then we just came in. We're like, oh, we just lost pistol, whatever. Like they won the first one. Like what I heard is how it got cut out from the stream after I said we finally won a pistol. Um, I'll be it more vulgar, and it's just it was pistol round, so we weren't bothered by going down 5-0. We just played, ended up bringing it back, kind of like found our footing, and then just kind of like went with it. We had to do some like on the fly adjustments with how we play because sometimes it could be a little bit more aggressive, but we could kind of tell that they were potentially tilted a little bit because some people were just doing solo plays when they shouldn't, and it worked out, but it really shouldn't have. So
Okay, well, let's hear your
it's
thoughts
kind of
on.
bruised.
Okay, okay, let's hear your thoughts on Split now.
Um, we split kind of had an idea of what they're going to run way ahead of time, just because players and roles were just like, ah, it should kind of look like this, and it did. And I mean, we lost the pistol, and we just kind of like struggled to really get our footing early on. Sometimes it was just like misplayed post plants.
Yeah.
Like we'd get into that good position, and then it just kind of spiraled out of control with the split momentum. Where if we just kind of won one or two more rounds on attack, it would have been a lot better for us, I would say. And then defense, I did talk about this earlier. Kind of got the opening picks, and this is specifically when Asuna killed GMD. It's like both him and I were right next to each other, and both of us lagged out, and it was frustrating. But stuff that's out of our control, and like I said, stuff that affects both teams is not like suddenly it's only happening to us. Suddenly it's only happening to them. It was just kind of like in and out for some players at sometimes. And then we kind of like started grinding our way back in after winning the next round. And honestly, sometimes we just missed a couple of kills that would have just completely changed the round, or we were just in a really rough spot. And we started to really figure out like what we should have been doing at the end, but it was too late to really implement that.
Okay, well, lastly, let's touch on Icebox.
Icebox. Honestly, some of it just came down to missing on it. Like the more I think about it, it's we kind of did what we were practicing. We weren't really suddenly doing anything different. Like we were pretty consistent, but we did a couple things that I think we did talk about. Like this is not really good against this type of comp. We did that and it didn't work, and we ended up getting put on eco a lot. So it's not really like we can consistently win off of eco, and they're hitting their shots at that point. They're ready and all warmed, and I guess they were hitting theirs, and we went. And then it's just kind of 9-3 at the end of the first half. We won a couple that say we should have. We actually won the pistol, but we didn't really win any gun rounds except one. So it was just really bad from us at that point. Then attack. Uh, Genuinely, like we misplayed one post plant pretty heavily, and I actually had a couple tech problems, but I don't really think that would have changed anything because my control key just stopped working, so it was really hard to navigate the drone going towards B. Specifically, only happened towards B for whatever reason. But all that happened, we would just get like outshot. So I know we did a play, we've run it many times, and more often than not, it works. We hit our shots, it goes great. That time, all four of us died towards mid, and then it's just like, well, what are we gonna do? Like I'm last left, and everyone's dead. Or I fell off of belt a couple times on pistol, because yeah, that was just feeding into me not playing the greatest and kind of being a little bit disappointed in myself in the end.
Okay, well, the lower bracket awaits. Of course, that's not an ideal situation. It's just the hand you guys have been dealt. Do you feel the pressure now that another loss is the end of GenG's VCT run, or are you guys still viewing it as a clean slate for whoever your opponent might be?
I don't really know what everyone else's point of view is, but to me, it's
Okay.
we just played probably the hardest match we could have played,
Yeah.
and now it should be easier than that. But we still need to touch up on what we failed on and come back and make that lower bracket run. So I don't really feel too much pressure, but there is a sense of urgency to work more as a unit than before.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Temperature, for the interview. Good luck in the rest of the tournament. I appreciate your time, man.
Thank you very much. Have a good one.